Hello everyone, today we're going to be showing all of the Harry and Friends episode views. So yeah, let's get started. Oh, by the way, this video is not ranked to smallest to biggest. It's just ranked in when the episodes came out, or like in the story order. So yeah, we'll be going for the episode views in the Harry and Friends story order. So yeah, but let's get started with Soapy Wars Season 0. First of all is Soapy Wars Episode 1 with a whopping 168,000 views. The next one is Soapy Wars 2 with 121,000 views. And in Episode 3, it's 190,000 views. And then in Harry and Friends Episode 3, it's 279,000 views. Now these views are pretty high. Next up in Soapy Wars Episode 4 is 128,000 views. In Soapy Wars Episodes 1 to 4, yes, there was a video of just all the episodes in one video. It has 150,000 views. Now, Harry and Friends Episode 1 has 328,000 views, and this is the third most viewed Harry and Friends episode, by the way. And the next episode, Harry and Friends Episode 2, is the most popular Harry and Friends episode with a whopping 519,000 views. Now that is actually wild. Now, a Harry and Friends mini episode, A Christmas Jingle, has 173,000 views. Now, Harry and Friends Episode 4 has 207,000 views. And then another Harry and Friends mini episode, The Story of How Harry Stole Pebble, has 145,000 views. Now, Harry and Friends Episode 5, this is a very iconic episode, but it has 189,000 views. Now that's a lot. And Harry and Friends Episode 6 is 259,000 views. And then Harry and Friends Episode 7 has 263,000 views. And then Harry and Friends Episode 8, which is where Marcia is introduced, has 227,000 views. Harry and Friends Episode 9 has 221,000 views. No, that's a lot. And Harry and Friends Episode 10 has 141,000 views. Now, Harry and Friends Episode 11 has 128,000 views, which is pretty interesting. Now, Episode 12 of Harry and Friends has 172,000 views. Now, Harry and Friends Episode 13 has 136,000 views. Now, Harry and Friends Episode 14 has 138,000 views. Now, the final episode of HAF, Episode 15, has 125,000 views, which is quite a lot. Now, the compilation video of HAF, just Harry and Friends Episode 1 to 15 in one video, has 154,000 views. Now, a Harry and Friends mini episode, Don't Eat These Marshmallows or Else, has 100,000 views. Now, another Harry and Friends mini episode, Flamey Throws Harry in a Box, has 250,000 views. Now, that's quite a lot. Alright, we've reached Harry and Friends 2.0. Now, Harry and Friends Episode 1 has 257,000 views, which is a really good amount of views for the first episode of HAF 2.0. Now, Harry and Friends 2.0 Episode 2 has 194,000 views. Now, Harry and Friends 2.0 Episode 3 has 198,000 views. Now, Harry and Friends 2.0 Episode 4 has 183,000 views. Now, Harry and Friends 2.0 Episode 5 has 182,000 views. Now, Harry and Friends 2.0 Episode 6 has 202,000 views, which is a lot. Now, we have Harry and Friends 2.0 Episode 7, which is the second most popular viewed Harry and Friends episode, with a whopping 501,000 views. That's honestly crazy. Alright, here comes Yo-Yo and her friends to start all the drama. Now, Harry and Friends 2.0 Episode 8 has 171,000 views. Now, Hiring Friends 2.0 episode 9 has 124,000 views. Now, Hiring Friends 2.0 episode 10 got 117,000 views. Now, Hiring Friends 2.0 episode 11 has 91,000 views. Now, Hiring Friends 2.0 episode 12 has 114,000 views. Now, mini Hiring Friends episodes, Normal or Dungeon, has 95,000 views. Now, Hiring Friends 2.0 episode 13 has 171,000 views. We're getting close to the end of HAF 2.0. Now, Hiring Friends 2.0 episode 14 has 276,000 views. Now, Hiring Friends 2.0 episode 15 has 87,000 views. Just kidding, it's got 97,000 views. I pranked you because this episode is called a prank. Get it? Okay, let's just move on. Now, Hiring Friends 2.0 episode 16 has 76,000 views. Now, the final episode of HAF 2.0, episode 17, has 140,000 views. Now, a mini Hiring Friends episode, So We Be Gone, has 84,000 views. Alright, so we've officially got to the Power of Flamey. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 1 has 189,000 views, which is quite a lot. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 2 has 126,000 views. Okay, now the Power of Flamey episode 2 again had a part 2 due to Bert Permanent not being in, the first part, and it explains why he wasn't in it. Now, this episode has 141,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 3 has 140,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 4 has 140,000 views too. Now, a mini Hiring Friends episode, Valentine's Day, has 119,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 5 has 120,000 views. Now, a Hiring Friends mini episode, Thanks for 1,000 subs, has 109,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 6 has 97,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 7 has 94,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 8 has 134,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 9 has 116,000 views. Now, a Hiring Friends mini episode, Cricket's Worst Nightmare, has 84,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 10 has 99,000 views. Now, a Hiring Friends mini episode, Flamement's Apology, has 63,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 11 has 115,000 views. Now, a Hiring Friends mini episode, Stuck in Another Dimension, has 112,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 12 has 94,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 13 has 98,000 views. Now, a mini Hiring Friends episode, Chocolate Taste, has 63,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 14 has 108,000 views. Now, a mini Hiring Friends episode, The Reptile Adventure, has 123,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 15 has 131,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 16 has 144,000 views. Now, a Hiring Friends mini episode, The Attempt to Free Marcy, has 83,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 17 has 122,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 18 has 143,000 views. Now, the Power of Flamey episode 19, which isn't out yet, has, well, we don't know how many views it has since, it's not out yet. But yeah, this video will come out before it premieres, which, yeah. Alright, it's time to move on to Friends and Harry. Well, it's not actually called Friends and Harry, it's actually called Snurfnura. And of course, Season 3, The Power of Flamey, isn't actually finished yet. It's just, there's only, 18 episodes right now. Well, it's going to be 19 episodes soon, but, it's just not complete yet. So we're moving on to Friends and Harry. But yeah, so Friends and Harry episode 1 has 126,000 views. And Friends and Harry episode 2 has 98,000 views. Now, Friends and Harry episode 3 has 90,000 views. Now, Friends and Harry episode 4 has 78,000 views. Now, Friends and Harry episode 5 has 91,000 views. Now, Friends and Harry episode 6 has 219,000 views. Now, Friends and Harry episode 7 has 72,000 views. Now, Friends and Harry episode 8 has 50,000 views. Now, Friends and Harry episode 9 has 45,000 views. Now, the final episode of Friends and Harry, episode 10, has 63,000 views.